Hello students, this is your geography for class 9th chapter 1 and the chapter's name is the earth as a planet. As all of us know that this entire, when we see up, you see a blank space, it is called universe. Universe means something that exists in space. So inside this space there are various galaxies, many galaxies, which comprises of millions of stars, planets, satellites, and our Earth. Our Earth, amongst these, our the what we our title is the Earth. Our Earth was formed by a Big Bang, that is around some 20 million years ago, and our Earth it comes under the Milky Way galaxy or the Akash Ganga, which consists of millions of stars, planets, various planets and their satellites. Although from the earth we can observe or we can see only 6,000 stars. Our second topic is the solar system. We have been studying about the solar system since a long time, since when we were in class 3rd and 4th, etc. So from that time we were learning that the solar system consists of 9 planets, but later on Pluto was removed to be a planet. So our solar system now consists of 8 planets, that is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Our Earth is the third out of these planets. Our solar system consists of stars, and the biggest star is the Sun, which is the closest star to the Earth and is called the Sun. Our solar system also consists of various planets as well as satellites. The next topic is the Sun as a star. As you know, the Sun is a huge ball of gases. It is very hot, and it is about 13 lakh 92,000 kilometers from the Earth, and it is around 109 times bigger than that of the Earth. It is the main source of heat and light on the Earth. All the living phenomena, the plants, life which exists on the Earth, the main source of energy is received from the Sun. And the speed, although the distance is quite high, but still the speed by which light travels towards the Earth is 3 lakh kilometers per second, and this light takes only 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach the Earth. Yeah, the planets are important members of the solar system. There are 8 planets in the solar system. In order, they are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. All the planets rotate on their axis and also revolve around the Sun from west to east directions. That is, it is an anti-clockwise direction. And the path on which the revolution occurs, this fixed path, is called the orbit. All planets except Mercury and Venus have satellites, also called moons. The planets do not have their own light but reflect the light from the Sun. So the planets are classified into 2 groups, that is the inner planets and the outer planets. In the inner planets, which includes Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, these planets are also called the terrestrial planets, as their structure is similar to that of the Earth. That means the temperature in Mercury is high, little lesser is Venus, and Earth has the appropriate temperature where life can exist. Now, in the second phase, we have the outer planets, which includes Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. These are also called the Jovian planets, as the structure is similar to that of Jupiter. So, they are gaseous in nature, means outer planets are gaseous in nature and the inner planets are solid, which have rocks in them. So children, Earth, a unique planet. Now, how its uniqueness we can say? In the solar system, Earth is the third planet from the Sun and it is the fifth largest planet and is also called the living planet. It's called living planet because life exists on it. And life exists on it due to its uniqueness. And what is its uniqueness? The presence of water and atmosphere on it. Now, there are several reasons to explain the uniqueness of this planet. And these uniquenesses are as follows. Firstly, the Earth lies in between of Venus and Mars. If you compare, in Venus, which is closer to the Sun in comparison to the Earth, the temperature here will be approximately around 200 degrees centigrade. And whereas Mars, which is far away from the Earth, from the Sun, its temperature is from 20 degrees centigrade to minus 140 degrees centigrade. That means the distance of the Earth from the Sun, which is around 148 million kilometers, it is quite appropriate for living beings to settle and to live over there. That means the temperature is not too high and not too low. Appropriate for life to exist on it. The Earth also has an appropriate temperature. Actually, the Earth is divided into two hemispheres, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And both these hemispheres have alternate seasons, you can say. During the winter season, the temperature drops to minus degree centigrade, especially at the poles, at the Arctic circles, etc. And during the summer season, the temperature may rise even up to 50 degrees centigrade in some parts like the African regions. So we can say that the temperature ranges from minus 10 degrees centigrade up to 50 degrees centigrade. That depends in various parts of the country. You may not be experiencing such kind of temperatures in your area, especially the minus ones. But whereas the high point is considered, you also have experiences around 48 or 49 degrees centigrade in your area where you are staying. Now, the next point we talk about is life. Life exists on this earth. Now, have you ever thought about that? What are the basic reasons why life exists? Firstly is the land. The land is hard, rocky, and these rocks, as you have already learned, that break into small pieces and soil is formed. Now, this soil is quite fertile because it contains many kinds of minerals which is used for the growth of plants and the food and fruits items which you are using. Now, nothing can grow on the land without water, and as you know that the earth consists of water which is around 71%. Although not all the water is in use, only about 3% out of the 70% is fresh water. But out of this 3%, quite a lot of portion is in the form of glaciers, which is not used by us. We use only a very small quantity, and this small quantity of water is used for our irrigation in the fields, for our industrial uses, for our household uses, and for other various life-giving activities. The most important thing is atmosphere, that means the air, because Earth is the only planet which has oxygen. Without oxygen, it will be very hard for us to survive. Without water, we can survive for a few days. Without food, we can survive for a few months. But without air, we cannot even survive for a few minutes also. That means air is the most important. And this layer of atmosphere which is present, this gives us the oxygen, carbon dioxide for plants due to photosynthesis, where they prepare their foods, which is utilized by all the living organisms, all the living things on the earth. Apart from this, the most important thing that we see is the sun's rays which reaches the earth. If it comes in directly, I tell you, we people will get burnt alive. But the presence of the ozone layer, it is a blessing because the ultraviolet rays of the sun gets filtered before it comes. The dust particles which are present in the atmosphere reflects most of the light back, and thereafter the reversal of the heat back into the space. Due to these phenomena, means the best phenomena is the phenomena of the day and the night. During the daytime, light enters. During the night time, light reflects back. These phenomena help to maintain a balance of the temperature on the earth. So, once again, atmosphere plays a very important role for our survival, because in too much high temperature we will not be able to survive. In low temperature also it is not survival for human beings is not possible. Eventually it is a blessing from the gods that we have a planet in which we live, which has water also, which has land, soil, and which has life-giving oxygen, air as well. The shape of the earth. In ancient times, people believed that the shape of the earth was flat, like a disc, and even at that time the religious scholars did not allow people to travel too much, because they thought that if they traveled at the edge, they might fall off the earth. And eventually, this became a myth when Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher in the 6th century BC, said for the first time that the earth is spherical in shape. But people did not believe him. Later on, Aristotle, Varahamihara, Aryabhat and Copernicus also said that the earth is spherical in shape. Today, we have several convincing proofs to support the idea, and which proves that the earth is spherical in shape. Some of the proofs are as follows. So some of the convincing proofs that we have today which proves that the earth is spherical in shape. Firstly, the sun and the other planets. We observe the other planets, the sun, the satellites from our earth, and when we see them, obviously they appear to be round in shape. That means if all the planets, the satellites are round in shape, obviously the earth also has to be round in shape. Secondly, the sun rises and sets. Now, we know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It is clearly, we have been studying since earlier times. So the time of sunrise and sunset is not the same at different places on the earth. As the earth rotates around its axis from west to east, people living in the eastern areas see the sunrise earlier than those living in the west. And why is this so? Had the earth been flat in shape, then all places on the earth would have the sunrise and sunset exactly at the same times. But because we have sunrises and sunsets at different timings, this clearly proves that the earth is round, spherical in shape. The circular horizon. It is very easy. If ever you go on the roof of your homes and from there you can see, you will find that the sky is coming downwards any direction you look at. Why does it appear so? Even if you go to the seashores, you will find that the sky and the oceans are meeting. Why is it so? It is because of the circular horizon. Had it been flat, you would have been seeing a dark spot in between of it. Because they are rounded, eventually we see that the earth and the sky are meeting at a distance. If we look around from any place, the hilltops or from the tall buildings, the edge of the earth, they all look circular. The extent of the circular horizon increases with the increase in altitude of the observer. This is only possible because of the spherical body. Had the shape of the earth been flat, the extent of visible area and its horizon would remain the same, irrespective of increase or decrease of the altitude of a place. The circular shadow. Children, we have experienced many eclipses, the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse. Whenever these eclipses occur, what do we see? We see the shadow of one heavenly body upon the other. Now, if you observe these shadows, how are they? Are they square? Are they triangular in shape? No. They are always circular in shape. That means when the shadow is circular in shape, the object also is circular in shape. Now, we Another example is about a ship which is approaching towards the shore. Whenever you are standing on a shore and you see a ship approaching, first we see just the topmost tip of the ship. When you sit there, wait for some time, gradually the pole, the tip and the pole of the ship appears. After a few more minutes or maybe half an hour or something, you see the topmost part of a ship. And as the ship comes closer, the entire ship is visible. Why is it so? It is due to the circular planet. Nextly, the polar star. The position of the polar star is always vertically above the north pole, and the angle of elevation of the pole star is different in different places. This angle decreases towards the equator, which is at 0 degrees, and this is only possible only if the earth is spherical in shape. Had the earth been flat in shape, then the polar star would have been overhead at 90 degrees all the time. Secondly, the circumnavigations which have occurred. Long time back we have heard stories about Christopher Columbus, Ferdinand Magellan. These people circled around. Now, what was their proof? They took a particular direction and they sailed on in the same direction. After a few years they found that they came back to the same spot. And what did this prove? This proved that the earth is circular in shape. So we have seen that sailors such as Magellan, who was a Portugal navigator and explorer, went on a voyage and discovered that the Strait of Magellan. He sailed across the Pacific Ocean, though he was killed in the Philippines, but his ship Victoria continued westwards and finally completed the voyage around the world and proved that the earth is spherical in shape. Another theory is the Bedford Canal experience, or you can say the Bedford Canal theory. It was a theory in which a professor, Dr. Wallace from Great Britain, he was a Britisher, who conducted this theory. According to him, he fixed 3 poles of equal lengths on the level bed, means the bed was leveled, which we could see with our naked eye, on the Bedford Canal at a distance of 1.6 kilometers apart from each other. And when he observed these poles through a binocular or a telescope, he found that the middle pole was higher, about 20 centimeters, than the 2 side poles. Eventually this proved the spherical shape of the earth. Not only that, recently now we are on, the new generation is on the net, and the pictures of the earth and other planets which we see in the magazines, newspapers, photographs, all these photographs which we see, obviously the planets, the sun, the moon, etc., they appear to be round in shape, they are spherical in shape. So there are so many convincing facts which prove that the earth is spherical in shape. So children, as we have seen or we have studied about the earth, now obviously we come to the conclusion that earth is a home of mankind. And the biggest example is that we human beings have been misusing this earth, or we have seen that we are causing destructions. And the biggest example we can see today, when our countries, or you can say rather the world, has been on a lockdown since 40 days, you have seen how the earth is recovering. Rivers have become clean, atmosphere has become clear, pollution levels have gone down. That means we should learn from this that we should not misuse all the natural resources which are available on the earth. This was a view from my part, because I am teaching you this subject and you are the future generation, you should learn and also how to manage. Now children, earth is a home, it is very very clear, right? Now why it is so? Because of the following reams. Lithosphere. When we talk about the lithosphere, it is the land. So do we people live in the air? Or do we fly in the air? Or we live on the treetops? No. Where are we living? We are living on the earth, on the land. Our houses are constructed on the land. Our industries are on the land. Our traveling, transportation is on the land, whether it is railways, roadways. So, and even the food crops, the fruits, whatever we are using, it all grows on the land. So, lithosphere is one of the most important part. Okay. Next you have is the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is another important phenomenon as it consists of water, water bodies, the seas, oceans, bays, rivers, wells, streams, everything. Some sources which are having saline water, other sources which are having fresh water. And we are totally dependent upon this. Not only for our irrigation purposes to grow food, for our industrial purposes, for our household purposes, for everything water is required. Third most important thing is your atmosphere. Atmosphere plays a very, very important vital role. Had there not been atmosphere, I assure you, living beings would never have survived. So many examples we have read. When people go on the Himalayas, they carry oxygen cylinders with them. Why? Because oxygen is not available at a height of 8 kilometers above the land surfaces, or you can say above sea level. Biosphere. Biosphere consists of all the realms. It is a part of the land, under the land, on the trees, a part of the atmosphere, air, that means air, land and under the earth. Because it is a home also for several. So, the narrow zone of contact between land, water and air, which all forms the life exists, is called the biosphere. It includes all the three dominions of the earth with all their biotic, means living, and abiotic means non-living components. Biosphere is the home for the entire living organism. That means even animals, if you talk about living under the ground, rabbits, moles, snakes. If you talk about animals living on the earth, we, the biggest animals. And also, if you talk about the birds, the monkeys which live on trees, they all come under this layer, the biosphere. Okay. So children, we conclude our lesson and I hope it will give you lots of help. Please do prepare your notes which are available, which the questions are available just at the end of your lesson. You must be having your books, or you must have arranged for some books, and if you are not, you can please arrange for your books and please make your notes, as these will help you during your examination time. Thank you and best of luck.